All right. And that brings us into our Who's That Pokemon segment.
Who's that Pokemon?
And our Who's That Pokemon for this week is Rattata.
I don't know if you did this on purpose, but I'm glad that you chose the most boring Pokemon ever for the most boring episode ever.
I didn't, but I chose this Pokemon because I'm like, when are we going to talk about Rattata? Well, nothing. There's no like special Pokemon in this episode. Now's a good time to talk about Rattata.
There we go. It worked out perfectly.
Or
Or imperfectly, however you want to
perfectly,
look
yeah.
at it.
So our Who's That Pokemon this week is Rattata, or in Japanese, it's known as Karata. Some basic information on Rattata. It is number 19 in the Pokédex. It is there are two versions, the regular Cantonian version, which is normal type, or the Alolan version, which is dark and normal type. It is 1 foot tall for both of them, weighs 7.7 pounds for the Cantonian version and 8.4 pounds for the Alolan version, and it is known as the mouse Pokemon.
A foot tall is still pretty large for a rat.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, like half of my dogs are taller, or not even a foot tall.
yeah, I mean, well, when it comes to like Rattatas, I would think it's also long, not just tall, a foot long.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes more
Because like
sense.
how you measure a horse. But yeah, it evolves into Raticate at level 20, or Alolan Rattata will evolve into Alolan Raticate at level 20 at night. I'm going to share because just so for those of you watching, you can look at the two Rattatas and see the difference.
I like the Alolan Rattata's little
Little mustache.
mustache. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
All right, just to show you guys that real quickly. All right, going on. His origin, his name. Rattata's English name is a blend of rat and attack. The repeated t sound gives it a sharp, rapid fire rhythm, which reinforces its defining traits, aggression, speed, and persistence. Even as a small Pokemon, Rattata is framed as something that lunges first and backs down never, and the name sells that idea immediately. Its Japanese name. The Japanese name Karata is derived from Komuso or Konazumi, meaning young rat or small mouse. The name emphasizes Rattata's size and status as a basic common Pokemon rather than its aggression. The clipped, playful sound fits early root Pokemon name conventions in Japanese where approachability mattered just as much as threat. There's also a subtle phonetic sharpness to Karata that keeps it from sounding cute. This is still a scrappy bite first creature. Because Japan, they pay a lot of attention to what the syllables make things sound like.
Yeah.
What is Rattata based off of? Regular Rattata is based on common urban rats, especially brown rats known as Rattus norvegicus, and field mice that thrive around human settlements. Brown rats or house rats are small, fast, aggressive scavengers that live close to people. Rodents as pests, they're known for chewing, biting, and surviving almost anywhere, and early rat wildlife, something trainers would realistically encounter near towns.
I love that this is just like the history of rats.
Yes, I'm just saying. Lowland Rattata, which is primary real world inspirations, is the black rat or the roof rat, also known as Rattus rattus.
The what rat?
Roof, roof,
You
roof
sound like
rat.
roof rat.
Ru-
The rough. What are you, a dog?
Yeah. Uh, Also known as invasive island species and nocturnal scavengers. Black rats are biologically and behaviorally different from brown rats. They're more agile and intelligent. They're better climbers. They're strongly nocturnal and more selective eaters. They are also infamous as invasive species on islands, including real world Pacific islands similar to Alola's inspiration, Hawaii. Introduced accidentally via ships, black rats often outcompete native species and disrupt ecosystems. So I will say, when I can't remember what generation it is, but when they did the Alolan Sun and Moon, it was cool because that's the first time they introduced, you know, variant species. And so they really put some thought into there, like, why is this Rattata dark type? They did, and based off the black rat, which Hawaii does have issues with. Rattata's biology. Rattata is a small quadrupedal rodent Pokemon with purple fur and cream-colored face, paws, and underbelly. It has narrow eyes with red irises, rounded ears lined with cream-colored fur, and a single whisker on each cheek. Its long tail curls tightly at the tip, and its most defining feature is its large front teeth. Like real rodents, Rattata's teeth grow continuously through its life and must be worn down through constant gnawing. This behavior also prevents it from being disturbed by the sound of its own teeth grinding while it sleeps. Female Rattata can be distinguished by their shorter whiskers. Rattata can survive anywhere it can find food, spending most of its days searching for something to eat. Its sharp fangs allows it to chew through nearly any material, and when threatened, it can deliver a surprisingly powerful bite. Always alert, Rattata keep their ears raised and will immediately flee at the slightest sound. Ferret is a known natural predator. Although capable of living in many environments, Rattata are most commonly found on plains and savannas. Their rapid reproduction allows even a single pair to quickly colonize an area. In Pokemon Sleep, Rattata has been observed sleeping with a log clenched in its mouth. Prior to Generation 4, Rattata and its evolution Raticate were the only Pokemon known to learn both Hyper Feign and Super Feign. And Rattata also has a regional form, a lowland Rattata. Due to its intense territorial conflicts with the Yungoos line, a lowland Rattata developed a new appearance. It has dark gray fur with grayish purple ears interior, along with two tufts of fur on each ear and near the tip of its tail. Its long, thin whiskers are replaced by shorter, thicker tufts of fur, and the line separating its underbelly from its darker coat is ragged rather than smooth. Unlike its Cantonian counterpart, a lowland Rattata frequently stand on its hind legs, giving it a more bipedal posture. Rattata are not native to Alola and originally arrived aboard cargo ships. Their population grew rapidly until young goose and gumshoes were introduced as a control measure. To survive these new predators, Rattata adapted by becoming nocturnal, relocating to urban areas and forming large nests led by a lowland Raticate. Each group is ruled by a single Raticate that acts as the boss. They're like just a group of gangsters. A lowland Rattata can rely heavily on their sense of smell to locate fresh food and will ignore anything spoiled. Their whiskers are highly sensitive, allowing them to detect hidden food with ease. Humans are even known to use a lowland Rattata when shopping for fresh ingredients. Most active after sunset, a lowland Rattata gather food to present to their leader and have been known to sneak into people's homes in search of supplies. These behaviors have led to massive outbreaks across Alola, making a lowland Rattata a significant public concern. See, you thought Rattata was boring. There was a lot of information on Rattata.
It felt like I was reading a textbook
Sorry.
or having a textbook read to me. I'm just kidding.
Some Pokédex entries on Rattata. Red and Blue says, bites anything when it attacks. Small and very quick. It is common sight in many places. Yellow says, will...
You know what a Rattata's natural predator is, right?
What?
It's just like a broom. Like if I see a Rattata, I'm hitting it with a broom.
Pokemon Yellow says, will chew on anything with its fangs. If you see one, it is certain that 40 more live in the area.
Have they counted every area that they found one, and it's exactly 40 every time?
Exactly 40. If as soon as 41 shows up, the oldest Rattata, they send them off like the Scyther.
Yeah.
Pokemon Stadium says, scurries around quickly, searching for hard objects to gnaw. It appears to be
Mm.
jittery and unable to remain still. Pokemon Gold says it eats everything. Wherever food is available, it will settle down and produce offspring continuously. That sounds
Yeah,
like a good way
well,
to live.
I know. What's wrong with that? I want to be a Rattata now.
Pokemon,
You move around, you eat, and then you see where it goes.
it always takes them out to dinner first.
Yeah. It's a gentleman.
Pokemon Silver says living wherever there is food available, it ceaselessly scavenges for edibles the entire day. So does Josh.
So does everyone that lives in Denver.
Pokemon Crystal says this Pokemon's impressive vitality allows it to live anywhere. It also multiplies very quickly.
All right. All right. I'm coming around to the Rattata.
Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire says Rattata is cautious in the extreme. Even when it is asleep, it constantly listens by moving its ears around. It is not picky about where it lives. It will make its nest anywhere. Pokemon Fire Red says its fangs are long and very sharp. They grow continuously, so it gnaws on hard things to whittle them down, which I think is a trait of actual rats.
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon Diamond and Pearl says, cautious in the extreme, its hardy vitality lets it live in any kind of environment. That's the second time they've used that phrase. Cautious in the extreme. That is just a weird phrasing. Pokemon Sun says its incisors continue growing until its death. If its trainer doesn't offer it a file to gnaw on, it will gnaw on door frames, table legs, and so on. I'm just going to say we have a new puppy in our house, and
Mhm.
it also gnaws on door frames, table legs, and so on.
Are you sure you didn't accidentally adopt a Rattata?
It's a lot bigger than a foot. Pokemon Moon says with their strong capacity for survival, they can live in dirty places without concern. Left unchecked, their numbers multiply rapidly. Ultra Sun says its incisors grow continuously throughout its life. If its incisors get too long, this Pokemon becomes unable to eat and it starves to death.
Imagine not imagine dying because your teeth got too big.
Pokemon Ultra Moon says this Pokemon is common but hazardous. Its sharp incisors can easily cut right through hard wood. And then new Pokemon Snap says, I bet you've seen Rattata near the lab a lot playing with Trubbish. I know they need to gnaw on things that keep their fangs from growing too long, but I really wish they wouldn't chew on the lab support beams. And then Pokemon Sleep says, and then here are some for a lowland Rattata. Pokemon Sun says with its incisors, it gnaws through doors and infiltrates people's homes. Then, with a twitch of its whiskers, it steals whatever food it finds. Pokemon Moon says when the sun goes down, it becomes active. It runs around town on a chase for good food for the boss of its nest, Raticate.
The
Ultra
Dawn.
the
The
Dawn,
the
yeah.
the Dawn. Make him an offer he can't refuse.
Ultra Sun says it shows no interest in anything that isn't fresh. If you take it shopping with you, it will help you pick out ingredients because that's going to make people feel wonderful when you're taking your giant wrap shopping with you.
It's like, "Oh, I have my Rattata here. Look, it's gonna help me find the freshest ingredients."
Ultra Moon says night after night they sneak into people's homes seeking food. A massive outbreak of them has become an issue of public concern. And then Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee says its whiskers provide it with a keen sense of smell, enabling it to pick up the scent of hidden food and locate it instantly. And then there was a bit of interesting trivia on Rattata. It says in the Pokemon Red and Blue beta, Rattata was originally known as Rattatak, which I do.
It's not a bad
That's
name.
that's not a bad name. And that is our Who's That Pokemon segment on Rattata.